Oh my. Oh my. Oh my.
You are now tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show.
Yo, what it is and what it do, it's your boy J Love, and you are officially tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show, aka the Revolution Podcast. As usual, I got my peoples with me. I got Miss Cherie Marlene. What is going on?
Hey everybody, I'm doing good. How are you?
And I got Miss Melian in the building.
What's up? What's up? Happy Monday.
Yes, happy Monday. Today is Monday, February the 8th. It is the 8th day of Black History Month. And I wanted to do something special today due to everything that we're going to be talking about every day. As you know, I've been highlighting different people within Black culture that have made a difference in the world in some form or fashion. And today, being that we're going to be talking about a lot of things relating to the Asian community, I wanted to give a shout out to our Blasian brothers and sisters, right? Because and I'm gonna say his name wrong, and I probably shouldn't even say it because I'm probably gonna butcher it and just completely destroy this whole situation. But today I wanted to honor Yasuki. Okay, his name is Yasuki. And who he was the first, and actually he technically wasn't the first, but he was like the premier Black Japanese samurai. You dig? And I want to read a Japanese proverb, and it says, "For a samurai to be brave, he must have a bit of black blood." You dig? That's a and so after him, his name was again, and please forgive me, y'all, that if I said this wrong, but Yasuki, and his last name was Tamu Ramu Maro. Y'all can laugh at me because I'm stupid. But anyways, after him, like the samurai, the Japanese samurai, like they really, a lot of their culture came from what he did. He was such an amazing warrior. And you can read more about it. I put a whole thing on him on my Facebook. On my Facebook at J Love Official, my Instagram, J Love Official, also the Revolution Radio. I did a whole little thing on his history or whatever. But shout out to the Black Japanese samurai that changed the whole samurai culture. And to our, I just want you to know that Black people, we done, our footprint is all around the world, and we related to Asian folks. So we all kind of related. You dig? So that was my shout out and my salute for the 8th day of Black History Month. So I hope y'all learned something. I hope you learned a little something. You excited that there's a reason why I like sushi so much.
James.
But listen, I want to jump right in because we're about to get on a serious topic. And so I'm going to let Melian take over here in just a second. So for me, y'all know that I am revolutionary, ain't even the word, man. I'm militant. I'm trying to always be up in something. And in the same way that, I was very loud and very vocal, and I still am with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. I was very vocal when it came to a year ago, if you recall, people were attacking the Mexican paletero man. A lot of these men were getting robbed, and I stood up and not just me, but I'm just saying I was very vocal about it and saying that, yo, we, and I say we, in that instance, I believe as a Black man, I could speak for us. We don't co-sign that at all as a culture. Right now, I'm so glad, Melian, you brought this to my attention because I didn't know. There's been an issue going on across the country within the Asian community. So can you just kind of tell us what it is? Because I want to make sure that it's represented correctly.
Yeah, first and foremost, if for the viewers who don't know, I'm full Vietnamese. I'm Asian. I'm a proud Asian, and this past week it's been crazy. It's been good. There's a lot of good, but then there's been a lot of bad things going on. And just as far as in the Asian community, there's, I don't know if it's a trend or what what's the new thing or what it is called, but it's actually not even new. It's been happening, especially even more because of COVID. Like an anti-Asian hate, a lot of anti-Asian hate crimes, but they've been attacking elderly Asians. So there's this
Wow.
video that went viral of an 84-year-old Thai man that got tackled and he died. Rest in peace to Vicha and Ratanapakdi. Hope I'm saying his name right, but he was 84 up in San Francisco. They got it on video too. A 19-year-old just tackled him out of nowhere. He was going for his morning walk, tackled him, and he passed away. He was a father, a grandfather, and so that video was going viral. And then there are a couple other videos that have been, going around too, of elderly Asian people getting robbed, attacked, and just a lot of hate crime towards Asians. So, we have a special guest today that I wanted to bring on with us. And Jay, you got two of those right there. But yeah,
We got
he's the founder of Jackfruit. He's an entrepreneur. He's an overall boss man and just a big voice in the Asian platform. So I wanted to bring David Nguyen from Jackfruit on today. So let's bring David into the room with us. What up, David? How you doing?
How's it going, guys? Thank you for
Hey,
having me.
David.
Hey, David, man, we so appreciate having you on, man.
I'm
And
grateful.
I just want to say this, man. Like for me, and I apologize for that little technical thing. That was my bad. I was trying to do something, trying to be slick. But man, when I found out about this, and then I started looking into it this weekend, and I started seeing how, like, here's my first question, I guess, for you is, do you have any idea, like, was this a challenge? Was this something, like, where did this start from? Because somehow people are communicating, because there's no way that this many people in different cities are doing the exact same thing, and somehow it wasn't communicated. Do you know anything about it?
I tried looking it up, and I asked a couple people, and then they said that they have no idea either. But they do remember, like a couple years ago, there was some kind of game or some kind of challenge where people were going around. I think it was called Knockout, right? And
Yeah, I remember that.
and even last year, there was so much crime that people were attacking people and recording on camera. And so there's also rumors of gang initiations. So I think it could also be people going around just shoving people to try to get into gangs, but it's not confirmed or anything yet. Yeah, it's horrible.
So I didn't know anything about it either till Melian shed light on it for myself and James. And after I did watch some of the videos and just different things like that, it blew me away because it's not only not my community. I think we get stuck in our day-to-day. And so we are not as informed on what's going on around the world. But you guys mentioned San Francisco. Is it only California that you've heard so far for the people that didn't know this was going on either?
So I know that right now it's happening in
Well, there was that man, that Filipino man that was slashed.
Filipino man. Where
Go
is he
ahead,
from?
David.
LA, right? No, wait, New York.
I think it was New
Oh,
York.
okay.
New York in the subway. He got his face slashed, from ear to ear. He had to get stitches to New York. But I know it's like quote unquote popular or really happening. It's happening a lot in San Francisco, and it sucks because I know there's a lot of like elderly Asians too, especially. They would be going shopping right now because of Lunar New Year, which is this week, celebrating this weekend, Chinese Vietnamese New Year. So, they probably just out shopping or something, not even expecting to be attacked. So that's why definitely, given this platform, I wanted to speak out on it and speak up about it, that it's not cool. This ain't a cool trend. It's I don't know who made it cool, or if you see somebody and you start laughing, because to me it's like elderly, I think of them like as babies in a way, in that sense. Like it's like somebody tackling a baby, and that sucks. They're vulnerable. They can't do anything to you. They can't fight back, but you're attacking them. So to me it's like, go ahead, Jay.
Well, if in any way this is a gang thing, and I mean, it was 100 years ago for me now, but as a former gang member, I definitely want to say, reach out to the OGs, like check the hood, man. Like, yo, this is unacceptable. This, there was always a code in the streets, right? And so, whatever happens amongst like criminals, gangsters, whatever, like, okay, whatever, like you chose that life. but there was always a code in the streets. Like, you don't mess with children, you don't mess with women, you don't mess with the elderly. You know what I'm saying? And for this to be potentially, now we're not saying for sure, but potentially some sort of a gang thing, yo, the OGs need to check the hood, man. Like, yo, this is not cool. Like, we not with this at all. Because this is we can't go out and be mad. First of all, like, go and protest or whatever, police brutality. We can't protest, things going on in the streets. We can't protest discrimination and be cool with this. Like, it's not cool at all. My next question for you, man, like, why do you, because obviously it's closer to home to you, like, why do you think that maybe we haven't heard more about it in the media?
I think a lot of people in the Asian community and like our families are raised to kind of be submissive and quiet in a sense, right? There's a site called Stop AAPI Hate, I believe. They tracked a lot of the stories last year, probably starting from January or February. And I forgot the number, but at one point it got up to like 2,500 or maybe even 3,000 hate crimes reported. And so that's not even what's unreported, right? There's probably people that are getting attacked, robbed, that are just staying quiet about it because they're either afraid or that's just how they are. You're raised, if you get punched in the face, you go home and you stay quiet, right? And so I remember when I was like 10 years old in 5th grade, I got punched by this a kid, and I kind of didn't know what to do because I never dealt with that situation or handled it, right? But I had this other half Filipino, half white kid. He came in and kicked that guy in the face, and so then I learned that I needed to stand up for myself and need to fight back, right? And so I think that's what happened, is that we're not speaking up and we're not being vocal about it. Like, you got the Black community. If something happens, you got everyone rallies behind each other.
Right.
They march, right? So
right.
And I was at the march last year too. Like, if you guys know me, like, I'm very highly influenced by the Black culture. I do hip hop, I DJ, I rap. So a lot of my close friends are Black. So it's not about like, Asians against Blacks or per se in that, but it's about speaking up for what's right, and what's going on right now is not right. So we need our allies. We need people to speak up, speak up. Like I was saying, last year I was marching, peak of the pandemic, right? Around June, I was marching. And to me, it wasn't because Black Lives Matter. Well, it definitely does, but it's like, I'm standing up for what's right. Right. So a lot of people, they're scared to speak, whether they're, Asians, non-Asians, speak up. I think they need whether showing the video clips, let your friends know what's up, speak up, say this ain't right. If it happened to you, speak up. Like, I know it's hard, especially David, you were saying we're taught to be more submissive, right? We're taught to be like, don't say anything, just turn the other cheek or, deal with it. But I think we need to make it a trend to like stand up for ourselves, stand up to the bully, speak up.
Well, and I think even for the rest of us, I mean, because here's the thing, it's important for people of color to stand in solidarity with one another when we're going through our struggles, because the truth is, it might be you today, but it's me tomorrow. And if it's me tomorrow, it might be someone else the next day, right? And so it's important that we stand, whether it's Black, Latino, Asian, Polynesian, whatever the case is, that we not only stand with each other in solidarity, but that we're extremely vocal about it, right? Because the reason I wanted to have this today on the show is because, however many people listen to the show, however many people tune into the show, if I didn't know, chances are maybe they didn't know, maybe they hadn't heard about it. And so it's important that the more we talk about it, the more we shed light on it, that yes, we shame the people who are doing this and potentially like kind of put eyes out there, so to speak. Like, where now, for example, people film the cops a lot, right? Like, it's a thing now to film like anytime someone gets pulled over, even if it's like nothing bad, is because we've made people aware of an issue. Well, now we need to make people aware of this issue. Like, we need to like put a stop to this ridiculousness. Like, yo, no more. I mean, I couldn't imagine, because here's how I feel about it. And this is what I tell people, when people were asking me, I had a lot of white friends in the heat of the summer with all the BLM rallies and everything, right? And I said to them, you know, the reason why I'm so turned up and the reason why I'm so emotional about it is because even if I never met them, if they're on another side of the country, that's my cousin, that's my brother, that's my sister. That's, you know, I make it personal, right? And so in the same way, I believe that, you know, that's my Asian grandfather, that's my Asian uncle. Like we have to make it personal, right? Like we as humanity owe each other that much, right? Like I would lose it. I would completely flip if anybody ever did that to my grandmother, right? So, but it's somebody else's grandmother. So what, it's not as important. You get what I'm saying? And so I think that,
Yeah.
you know, you know, we have to be vocal. We have to be loud. We have to find ways, start, you know, whatever. Shoot, if it starts with just 3 people on a corner saying no more, I don't know. I mean, whatever. Like, so what can we do? So the both of you are Asian. What can we do to show you guys solidarity, right? Because like obviously we might not have the answer, but the answer lies somewhere. You know, it's putting our heads together and doing something. So I'm asking, as a black man, what can I do to stand in solidarity with you guys?
So one thing that I saw a couple of days ago was, you know, Mr. Fab. He shared
Everything is
yep. So he shared a video and kind of spoke out on it and said, "Hey, this isn't right, and this needs to stop." Right, and we need more of that. Right. I remember one time last year, Cardi B spoke out against it for a minute on her IG story, and then people started sharing the video and everything. And so I feel like we need to come out somehow, have these discussions and conversations where the Black community can kind of connect more with the Asian community and vice versa. So one thing that I get a lot, because we have a good amount of Black followers, and sometimes there are other new Black people come in and they say, wow, I wasn't ever aware of these things going on, right? Or let's say an Asian person doesn't go on the Shade Room or other Black outlets, right? Media outlets, or even like Revolt or something. And so they don't know what's really going on in those platforms or those communities. And so I think being able to hold more discussions in different communities, and because what I did last year was whenever there was an attack on one of those Palatero, the people that got hit, or the Mexicans, right, the Hispanics,
Yes,
I would share about it, and people kind of like, we started getting more Hispanic followers, and we did that because we'd like them to do it for us too.
So really, what I hear you saying is just come together in unity and just keep sharing. The more people talk about it, hopefully it stops it, right? To James's point too, just the more we're shedding light and spreading the word, the more eyes are on the situation.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
and to your point, I think one of the things that I was sharing with both Cherie and with Melian earlier is I think that it's our generation, really, because not to be, you know, pessimistic, but I don't think an old racist is going to change, right? Like an older person. I think they're stuck in their ways. They believe what they believe. It is what it is. If you're too young, you kind of don't get it yet. But I think that age group from like, say, you know, their 20s to the 40s, right, is the group that like we can change, because we know that in the past there's been issues between you know, the Black and the Asian community. There's been issues between the Asian community and the Latino community, but we have the, you know, for the first time, like this generation, like we all kick it together. Like we don't have those issues, right? And I think it's our responsibility more than ever to, regardless of what our parents' generation, you know, or our uncles and whatnot, like regardless of whatever they did, or, you know, the sins of our fathers, so to speak, right? Like we go the extra mile to show that, like, yo, we stand, you know, yo, I got mad love for Asians. You feel me? Like Asians got mad love for Black culture. Like most of the dopest B-boys are Asian. You know what I mean? Like, cause I'm an old school hip hop head, right? And so, you know, I think that, like you said, I think the more that, you know, you on your end post the things and, you know, you show your solidarity with different communities, and we all do that kind of collectively, you know, it's almost like a virus that can catch on, right, within culture, because we never know what the thing is that's going to go viral. So we just got to kind of keep spitting, right? Got to keep spitting the things out and hope that people catch it, that it's contagious, right? That it's airborne and it gets in the air. So that's why it was important for me to you know, when Melian brought this up, man, to bring you on the air and to really address this issue, you know, and let me ask you this. Is there a sense of, because for a minute and still a little bit, but like for a minute, there was really a sense of fear in the Black community, right? Like in terms of the being out in the streets and like, you know, you might be targeted right now by the cops or whatever, or even the paleteros when that was going on, like it was like in the air, right? Is there a sense of fear right now in the Asian community? Like are people afraid to come out? Has this affected people that much?
It's a big concern. So I don't know if you guys know about the new app. It's called Clubhouse. And so it's I would say a Zoom, but just audio only. And so people join on and they talk.
Jay doesn't know about it. He doesn't have an iPhone.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'll send you an invite.
But, I don't have an iPhone, man. I have a real phone, an Android. Y'all be doing that crazy iPhone stuff.
So I think they're gonna go probably mainstream and have everyone download it probably in a month or two. Okay. But right now it's invite only. And then 2-3 days ago, two actors, Daniel Wu and Daniel Dae Kim, got together and they posted an announcement saying that we're going to put in a total of 25,000 or something for any information as a reward for anyone that comes through. And
wow, that's
their own money. And so they put together a Clubhouse room, and then there was about 3,000 people that joined, and you had people from different communities. Like there's a handful of Black people that came. There was Lupe Fiasco, I believe he joined too.
Wow.
You know, Jin
was in the room.
Jin, I love Jin, man.
Were you in there, Milan?
Partially, yeah. I was actually on set, so I was trying to in and out. I was on set.
Yeah. So they were just talking and then kind of like saying, what can we do now and what actions can we take? So it lasted about 4 hours.
Okay, so I asked you this earlier, but I think it's important for everyone else to hear because I hear you guys talking about, again, the well, aside from what you just said, most of it is within the Asian community.
Real quick, I'm sorry, Sheree, please forgive me. If you can hold that thought, we're just gonna pay a couple bills real quick and then ask him that question as soon as you get back, because you know we're trying to stay on the air and you know we got to pay some bills. So really fast. Not that that's more important because people are more important. I'm just talking.
We got you. We got you.
Without even lifting a finger, achieve the body of your dreams. You're perfect the way that you are, but if you've been struggling to tone up and love your body, there's something that can help you get there. Put down the box of chocolates and pick up a wrap. No, not that kind. A wrap that you can wear. That's Gym in a Box. The Core Wrap, the best body shaper anywhere. It features ultimate performance technology, Tone Up 15 to firm tone and strengthen your abs as it shapes your waist. I mean, can you think of a better Valentine's gift to love yourself with? What are you waiting for? And in honor of Valentine's Day, from today, February 5th through the 10th, get a special discount of 10% off and have Gym in a Box delivered. That's Gym in a Box. Go to gyminabox.la to get yours now. That's gyminabox.la because you deserve your dream body.
If you just tuned in, you are listening to the Revolution Radio Show, aka the Revolution Podcast, live on 102.3 FM KCAA in the Inland Empire. We're talking about a lot of really important things going on right now in the Asian community. And before we left, Sheree, you had a question that you were about to ask.
Yes, the question I have, and we spoke about this before going live, but I know it's important for everybody to hear because I felt empowered by the answer, and that is why isn't this being covered on mainstream news?
So last year, I worked pretty closely with Dion Lim. She's with ABC News, and she gets a lot of the stories that I get sent in and vice versa, right? And sometimes I would report or share a story first, and then she would hear about it and start reporting on it and investigating and really getting the story out there, right? So we kind of like went hand in hand where she covered the mainstream and we covered like a social media aspect of it. And so I asked her in an interview, and she mentioned that she believes a lot of news stations don't have the resources. And I'm not too sure what that means. I believe it's as in they already have priorities in certain stories that they talk about and cover. And so I think Asians are just kind of like at the bottom of the ladder in a sense where we're not covered when a Black man gets shot by a white cop. That's boom. right? But then you never really hear about white people getting killed or shot, right? And then when you hear an Asian person getting pushed or hit, it doesn't really get covered. So I believe that, to me, I think mainstream media is kind of programmed to tell stories a certain way or highlight certain topics more than others. And so Dion told me that she had to run stories through to the producer and get approval first. And so now they're starting to highlight and cover a lot more. And she's kind of really leading the way in that right now.
Got it. The reason why I felt like it's important for everybody to hear is because it really does reiterate that it's up to us, the community, to get it out there, that we can't depend on mainstream to cover everything. And I know most of us know that, but I think we constantly need to be reminded of it, because even though that's in my face, just hearing you say it almost put like it encouraged and empowered me to be that extra voice. So I just want to do the same for our listeners.
Well, if I could add to that, though, I want to just a little bit, not necessarily disagree, but I firmly believe the reason this isn't being covered more is partially because of the systemic racism that is a part of this country, that is a part of the media, that, blatantly Asian stories don't count because it doesn't count to the mainstream media, which happens to be predominantly run by white men. And not that white men are evil, but we know that, again, the systemic racism that is a part of the culture in this country has dictated that throughout the history of this country, we know that this being Black History Month, right? I've been talking about how, and I'm continuing Black people built this country. It's because of us. But the truth is, a great portion of this country was built because of the Chinese. If it wasn't for Asians, we wouldn't have the infrastructure.
Yep, they built the railroad tracks.
Yeah, which changed not just the country, but the world. And so from day one, there has been a systematic approach in this country to, diminish the influence and diminish. I remember growing up, I was into Bruce Lee, right? And not to kind of sidetrack, but I remember it was a big deal when I found out that Bruce Lee was supposed to be the star of Kung Fu, but they didn't give it to him because he was too Chinese. I'm like, how does that make sense? He's this Kung Fu. How does the Chinese dude not get the, you know what I mean? So I just think that that's why we need to be loud and kind of really, the reason why Black people get so much attention right now is because we've been yelling and yelling and yelling and yelling, for 40, 50 years, and so I think, go ahead.
It doesn't go back to what David said, is just as their culture is just to be more quiet and not so vocal. So that's why this is being silenced. Is that what you're saying? Because everything's, what, according to you, ran by the white man.
It's a big part of, it's a big part of it. Yeah, so it's kind of a combination of everything. Yeah.
So then, damn it, I'm gonna be loud for David. Then, if he ain't loud, I'm gonna be loud. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be loud.
Oh, David is loud. David's posting the videos. David's here with us. He could be doing so much more. David's loud. He's on the radio right now with us. If you guys follow, make sure you guys follow him on Jackfruit, Fruot. He's showing videos. He's definitely making it known for people who don't know about it. So we thank you, David, for being the voice for the voiceless, for coming on and speaking.
Yes.
And we know you're super busy. Like we mentioned, you're an entrepreneur. You got all these type of different businesses. So we thank you for taking time out of your day to come on the air and let people know what's going on.
And and I want to talk about your businesses, you know what I mean? But we're going to throw to another commercial real quick. But when we come back, I want to ask you about what it is you're doing, because I think part of it as well is actually supporting, right? It's supporting one another. So, obviously if we, your business needs to be important, right? Not just the struggle, but the things that you're doing good. So I definitely want to talk about that. We're going to cut to this commercial, then we'll come back and we're going to talk about what it is you do.
Okay.
Do you have a business that depends greatly upon your clientele base having access to cash, like a dispensary or a barbershop? Or maybe you're in the market for one of the new cutting-edge Bitcoin ATMs or self-serve kiosk machines. Whatever your ATM needs are, contact my man Guy, the ATM Guy, at 855-4ATM-GUY. That's 855-4ATM-GUY, or online at www.theatmguy.net. Yo, if you just tuned in, once again, you are tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show, aka the Revolution Podcast. I am Jay Love. I am here with my co-host, Miss Meliana and Miss Cherie Marlene. And we got a very special guest, David Nguyen, in the studio. Well, kind of in the studio with us, right? But he's live with us either way. And we were talking about a lot of issues going on with the Asian community. But in standing in solidarity and in support. What exactly is Jackfruit, and what do you do so people can kind of get hip to the whole situation?
So Jackfruit started as a passion project or a hobby in a sense first. This was back in 2011 when we launched with two other friends. They're no longer part of the brand, but they, they got other focuses to take care of. And so I decided that I wanted to continue growing this and really take off. So if you think of Jackfruit, there's not really a media outlet right now that's really representing for Asians, like in a really the right way or like a mainstream way in a sense. So the Black community, they have like BET, you guys got Revolt, you guys got the Shade Room. Latinos, they have what, Telemundo, what else?
Right.
And then Asians, there back then 10 years ago, there was like nothing really, right? There was a lot of rise in Asian talent from YouTubers, singers, and everything. But then it was kind of like a missing part of the world. And so we got together. We were at Tapioca, some boba shop, and we were like, let's come up with a name. And so we thought of a fruit, and we changed the spelling with to add 2 O's because roots, as in your culture, where'd you come from, where'd your ancestors from, right? So that's how we came up with the spelling and made it unique. So right now we are working on building a new team and probably relaunching a new site by summer. And so there's also 2 potential big investors that want to come in and help scale this so that we could really take leaps and move faster and cover more ground. So I think this year is going to be very exciting, and we're going to be probably doing a lot of different content in terms of probably podcasts, videos, and everything, and more interviews with people.
That's dope, man.
Very
That's
cool.
dope. Who are so if I just want to make sure I understood it correctly. So you're kind of like in the space of, and I don't want to call it the Asian quote unquote whatever, but just to you know what I mean, like a Revolt or a where's my mind? See, this happens to me.
I guess Asian
Like the Shade Room is,
Like
Shade
the Shade
Room.
Room, like
Shade
Shade
Room.
Room.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so who are some of like the major like upcoming Asian talent that you guys have either worked with or you plan on working with that are like really upcoming and about to do some big things?
There's a lot
Besides
of
Melion.
Yeah, besides Melion.
There's a lot of comedians. There's a lot of artists, rap artists, singers that are coming up. There's some from Canada that I think that has a lot of potential. Then they're so talented that they don't have this platform or this no one's pushing them because it's like no one's showing them
They're
love.
Asian.
Yep.
Let's be real. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this: what do you want us to know about the Asian community that we might not know? Because for the most part, most of us, right, are fed in general stereotypes of one another, right?
Yeah.
What do you want us to understand about the Asian community and Asian people that we might not know?
I think about when you think about Asian community, people have the minority myth that we're smart, we're already like looking, sounding a certain way, and I want people to know like there's so much more if you really dig down deep into these roots and really kind of like learn what people are all about, right? And then so that's kind of what's been hiding for the past. Well, majority of Asians were like what 10% of America right now, or 11 or something, right? And so we aren't given that spotlight right now. So a lot of actors are fighting and pushing through, but then a lot of them are moving away to China or Asia to produce movies because there's no opportunity here, right? And it's so controlled. So I want people to know that we do have a lot of talent, and there's a lot of like things on the rise right now that people are working on. So it's going to be a lot of effort from everyone. So.
And I've been casting in a couple like small films and short films, and they always, for some reason, wanted me to be like the nail salon lady, or the stereotypical Asian role kind of thing,
Yeah.
So just getting rid of that, stereotype. Jay, he mentioned last week, but just that we don't all do nails. We're loyal, we're hardworking, we're fierce. we're human beings. We're people. We work hard as well. We're a minority as well. We're trying to make our parents proud as well. We're trying to make, a life here in America, because I'm a first generation here in America. My parents are from Vietnam, and I don't know if, some of my friends that are listening, but know this, but I was actually really bullied when I was younger for being Asian. I lived in a primarily Latino and a Black community, and I got jumped in 4th grade. I remember still the girls, they were calling me China, Macarena, like they were saying like little mean things, Shanita, calling me Chinese girl, and I got jumped. They hit me from behind, and a couple girls, and I was a little helpless. I felt a little helpless. I remember walking home and holding my stomach. I had a shoe print on my stomach, and my mom, she didn't even know English. She grabbed the key. She didn't even know how to drive. She didn't have her driver's license. And she drove to my school, and she, to her best ability, I love you, Mom, cussed out the principal and assistant principal, and was like, my daughter, told me to lift up my shirt to show the shoe print that was still on my stomach that they like stomped me from. And just to show that, like, my mom wasn't gonna have it. Not only did she go to the school, actually she went to both of the girls' house because they lived down the street from where I lived. So back then all the kids played out in the streets, until the lights came on. So my mom went to both of their houses to talk to their moms about it. It's the best way she can. So growing up, as for me personally, like I have to speak up if something's not right or something, and that's, remember, what Melion means. One is the last 3 letters, and Melion is being the chosen one, the one that stands out or stands up for what you believe in. Speak up, So for any Asians out there that are listening, or anyone in general, like, don't be scared, one, to be yourself, but also to stand up for what's right. Speak up, be the voice for the voiceless. So yeah, once again, David, we want to thank you again for, coming on the show with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, definitely, and I definitely have more questions on jackfruit real quick. We're gonna pay one more bill. We're gonna show this last commercial, and then we come back, and because we want to find out where we can go check out jackfruit at, all that kind of stuff, your little URLs and everything.
Exotics Wellness. From massage oils to bath bombs, from drops to pain bombs, everything you need in exotic CBD wellness. Go to www.queenexotics.com. That's www.queenexotics.com, or Queen Exotics on Instagram.
If you're just tuning in, you're getting towards the tail end of the show. This is the Revolution Radio Show, aka the Revolution Podcast, live on 102.3 FM KCAA in the Inland Empire and worldwide everywhere else. We have a very special guest with us today. His name is David Nguyen, and he is one of the co-founders and the CEO of an amazing company called Jackfruit. And so we want to see where we can check this out. It's a great platform. You guys can find some amazing, Asian artists, actors, a whole bunch of other really cool stuff. So where can we find, like, if we want to go check everything out, where are you at? Like, I'm assuming Instagram, right?
Yeah, so you can just search us up on Instagram, type in Jackfruit. We are on Facebook too, and then we're going to be relaunching a new site probably in a couple of months to get more coverage and everything.
And so, and one last time, let me ask you this: where do you hope to see Jackfruit, let's say, in 5 years from now?
In 5 years, I hope to really be pushing a lot of entertainers, actors, singers, and really kind of being the ship that helps sell success forward for Asians, right? Because right now there's no one-stop shop, and there's no place to go to when you want to look for all these entertainers or people that are on the rise or are doing amazing things, right? And so I feel like we have a name, and so it's different, unique, and it stands out. So that's one of the reasons why I never kind of let go of this project, because this name feels like it's a representation of people that have big dreams, and I want to help people make it come true.
Awesome,
I love that.
man. So let me ask you this, man. If
And
there's
thank
one
you for
last
not
thing-
giving up, David, because you mentioned that your page. Go ahead. Oh, you mentioned that your page got reported, and you had like 100K followers, and you know, it went down. You have to start basically from new. So for those that don't know, so thank you for continuing that, you know, not giving up. Like you said, continuing building that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
our main page is down right now, but I think hopefully our insiders can bring it back up in a week or two.
Well, let me ask you this, because I like to ask this to guests, right? And so, you know, but God forbid, we don't want nothing to happen to you, right? But if this is the, you know, the one of the last times that people get a chance to hear your voice, right? What would you want to leave people with? What would you want to be known as in your legacy to be, man? If this was one of the last opportunities you had to kind of share your voice with the world.
I would tell people to always chase after your passion and your dreams, right? Even if you're doing something, even if you weren't getting paid for it, right? What if we all got paid the same thing? Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something. Always like use that fuel when they say, "Oh, I don't believe you. You're not going to do it." Use that as fuel to your fire.
Yeah.
And really, really use that as your passion to continue chasing it, right? And so people give up. And I want to tell people don't give up, because sometimes success is like right around the corner.
Man, that's definitely the word
love
right
that.
there. Don't give up no matter what's going on. Ladies, do you have anything else you want to ask David before we start to make our exit out of here?
No, I just wanted to thank you again for shedding light, because it was a huge eye opener for me, and I'm glad to know your page now. Definitely be following and sharing so my followers can do the same.
Miss Melian.
And David, once again, want to thank you. I want to know, like, how does your family support you, or do they support you, or like throughout this whole journey, have they just began supporting you?
My dad's really supportive right now. And I remember when I was 18 or 19, and I didn't know what I wanted to do in college, right? So I saw this girl with a book that said advertising. And so I jumped in the whole advertising and media game and journalism and everything. And then I told my dad, one day he called me from work. He's like, what are you going to major in? I said, I'm going to do advertising and marketing. And his response was, oh, you can't do that. You're Asian. And so I just kind of froze. I was like, wait a minute, you're my dad. Shouldn't you support what I'm doing, right? And so they have this stereotype where success can only be found when you're a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, right? And so I went down this route and continued to kind of just really doing what I want and what feels right. And so, you know, my family now kind of supports it, and they see it now, and they see the growth and where I want to kind of drive this direction to. So yeah, it's kind of like changing things.
So I guess really quickly, then
No,
my
yeah.
follow-up question for that is, where did you get your drive from? Like, where did that come from? Because I know parents are a huge part of what drives us when in our younger years. So where did the fuel inside of you to go against what was being told to you? Where'd that come from?
To me, I always believe that parents always want you to be happy, right? But then you can't be happy when you're trying to do what they want, right? This is your life, not theirs. And a lot of people, I have friends that are engineers or doctors, and sometimes they're miserable, they're stressed, they go to work and they go every day, they hate doing what they, their job. And so I didn't want to be like that. And I wanted to, whether, if I'm going to be broke, I want to be doing something I love, right? Because we have this one life that's so short. And if we're wasting every day going to something that you hate, what's the point of living then, you know?
Man, if
Well,
that
I think you and Melian, I mean, all of us really, but are leaders in that, because I feel like I've probably heard that same thing come from Melian as well. So
awesome.
Thank you both for your passion.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big believer in that. I agree with you. Like, my parents actually wanted me to be a lawyer or doctor, and in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, they didn't really support me. I went to UC San Diego. I'm the first one in my family to get accepted and attend a university, and then I tell them, I'm gonna be a rapper. Like, I'm gonna fully pursue music, entertainment, and they were like, "What?" Like, I remember, like I was just like, I'm moving to LA from San Diego. I'm like. And it was crazy because I was living on campus. Food is right down. I'm right by the beach in La Jolla, and everything was great. But then when I moved to LA, I lived in a studio with a bunk bed with another roommate. So it was a small studio. And for breakfast, I had like Fruit Loops. Lunch, I had Fruity Pebbles, and then dinner to make things a little spicy. I mixed it up, and I was the happiest person. Like, I was broke. I was, I was living in a studio, but I was one of the happiest people.
Okay, but on
What's up,
behalf of
Sheree?
parents, though, on behalf of parents, I get that. Like, I want my boys to do what they love, but you just want your kids to always, like, we want to know as parents, if we leave this earth tomorrow, you're going to be okay. So I get that direction, but hearing you guys is so inspiring as well. So I'm hearing you guys as being inspired, and also from a parent perspective for my own kids. You don't even realize you're inspiring me there, and just to really hear them out too. So that's for the parents out there. We need to encourage our kids to do what makes them happy. But again, to defend both of your parents, I get it. I totally get it.
But you know what it is? You can't substitute the struggle. There's things that the struggle will teach you, the school never can. You can't get an education in grind. You can't, there's no class for hustle. There's no class of stick to itiveness.
But parents want to protect their children from the hardship that they went through, which is, I guess, the catch-22, right? Because to your point, you have to.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, this is what the analogy I always give. It's like the butterfly, right? The butterfly, you know, the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, and the process of coming out of the cocoon and becoming a butterfly is actually an extremely painful process. But if you were to go in and assist the caterpillar in coming out of the cocoon and kind of slice it open for them and make it easy, you would end up killing it. It would never have its full potential, would never have the strength enough to fly, because it's the struggle in there when it's having to break out that gives the wings the strength for it to fly, right? So I'm kind of deep. I just dropped something.
But see, from a parent perspective, it makes sense here. Like, I get you, I'm with you, I agree with you. But we have this natural instinct to want to protect and make everything nice and fluffy for our offspring. So I get that side too.
I get, because, you know, I remember my mom, she flipped out. I moved to California from Albuquerque, New Mexico when I was 18 years old with a backpack and $365 in a dream. I figured I got $1 for each day. You know what I mean? But I'm here, you know what I mean? And I've traveled the world. I've done some amazing things, you know what I'm saying? And so I think for all of us, whether the struggle it's a gender struggle, is you being female, whether the struggle is being Asian or being Black, whether the struggle is being young and misunderstood, you know, which leads me to my final point, right? Like, first of all, I want to say that, you know, it was important that we had this conversation. There's a scripture in the Bible where it talks about that there's no greater love that a man can show than laying down his life for his brother, right? And I think, you know, every day we have the ability to lay down our life for one another, in the sense of just little things, you know what I mean? Speaking out, doing this, right? You know, posting, you know, a lot of people say, oh, posting isn't important, but it is, right? Because you can literally, in the click of a button, get your message out to the world. So in those little things, you know, we can definitely lay down our life for our brothers, right? And so what I want to do is just admonish everyone. Look, I know that we all have things going on. We just came out of the craziest year in the history of our lives, right? 2020. 2021 started out a little funky as well. And I know it's very easy to get caught up in our own thing, in our own issues, in our own problems. But I think that if we have the awareness to know around us that we're not the only ones going through something, number one, not only does it make our struggle easier because we understand it's not just me, like I'm not alone in this, right? Like, I don't want Asian people to feel that they're alone in their struggle. We got you. We got your back. You feel me? In the same way that when we were going through everything, it felt good to see people. Like, it was weird at first, but it felt good to see people stand in solidarity with us on the whole Black Lives Matter thing. You know, when women with the whole, you know, Me Too thing, right? I know that a lot of women shared with me that, like, it felt good to finally be listened to, right? And so what I'm hoping, right, for all of us, when we talk about the revolution for us is revolutionizing the way we think. You know, a lot of us were raised a certain way. And even though, you know, we've said this before, our parents meant well, right? Parents mean well. It's not always correct, right? We have to revolutionize the way we think, the things that we believed were true, right? The things that we believed were correct that are not. We have to revolutionize the way we talk to one another, revolutionize the way we live. Revolutionize the way we eat, because it could kill you, literally. And so, you know, our hope is that you go away from this show every day just a little bit better, like just a little, you gained a little bit of something in your life that just is that much more to be like, whoo, this, I can do this thing, right? And I keep saying this, 2021 is going to be 2020 win, right? We done already won, you know what I'm saying? And so for everybody out there, definitely go check out my man, David. Go check out Jackfruit. You know, again, it's at Jackfruit. It's spelled, and there's a little special at the end of it. So it's JACKFROOTX on Instagram. Go check him out. Check out what he got going on. You might even, you know, find some new music that you like, some new entertainment that you like. Go check it out. Be a supporter. You know, even
And
just
David,
him.
before you leave,
Go ahead.
yeah, David, before you leave, actually, this whole thing is affecting a lot of my, you know, close friends, mentally. Even, what would you advise to them, or what would you tell people in community that are being affected by this? They're either scared for their grandparents, or they're angry, or feeling some type of way. What would you tell them right now if they're listening?
I would say continue using your
You still got
these
David
tools.
there? Oh yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say continue trying to use tools that you have available, right? Social media, your phone. If you see an incident, record it, capture it, or speak up, right? A lot of people, they would see something, they would not say anything. Educate your family members. So right now what's happening also is that there's anti-Blackness happening because of what they see, right? And so I want people to know that not all Asians just don't like people before their skin color, right? Because there's some people that do, but then I'm trying to educate them that that's not okay to do it. So right now is just really trying to create the awareness, telling your families about what's going on, but making sure that you shouldn't hate a race for the actions of a couple of individuals, right? You should just try to hate those people for what they did, right? Specifically those people. So yeah.
Word, and I appreciate that, man.
It's the actions, not the skin color. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because it's very easy to get upset at just and blanket one group of people, and then now we're in a situation where every person of whatever, you know, ethnicity is fill in the blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think us getting past that, but you know, man, again, I got to say this again. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really enjoyed having you, man. I hope that we enlighten some folks out there. I hope that we shed some light on some stuff. And I hope that, you know, people come away from this, you know, being a little bit more understanding and a little bit more open to people who might look different than what they look like, right? And so I think that, you know, if we just I want to put a challenge out there. If this thing was a challenge, I know it's COVID and we can't really like hug people or stuff like that, like Rand, but just you know, and I hope that this is taken as a sign of respect. But I notice Asian people bow a lot when they greet each other. Yo, for all of my non-Asian people, when you see an Asian person, just go over to them and bow and smile. Just let them know, like, hey, I got you. You know what I mean? That's one small thing that I think we can do, that everyone can afford to do. You know what I mean? That can hopefully spread a little bit of love in this world, man. We got 2 minutes. Sheree, Marlene, you got something to say before we get out of here?
Nope. I love the show. Thank you again, David.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Miss Melion, you got something to say?
Appreciate you, David. Thank you again. We definitely gotta connect when you come back down here. One last thing I want to ask, because I know you're up there in NorCal right now. Are there rallies going on right now? Or is there anything going on commotion wise?
I did Oakland, I think over the past weekend they had like a small event, probably like 100 people or something. SF, people are in talks of setting something up big right now, but I don't know who's going to be stepping forward and really leading it right now. So I think there's going to be another group this week or a chat talking about it. So you'll probably hear us post stuff sometime soon.
Well, again, man, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yo, much love to the Asian community. Shout outs to all of y'all, man. This was the Revolution Radio Show, aka the Revolution Podcast. I am Jay Love, along with Sheree, Marlene, and Melion. And we want to encourage you like we do every single day. You know what I mean? Day in and day out, Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on 102.3 KCAA. Reach for your best. Reach for success. But most of all, reach for God, because God is love and love is everything, man. Yo, we're going to see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Make sure you show somebody some love, man. Yo, it's the Revolution, man. We out of here, but we ain't gone.
Oh, my.